Howdy YouTube, welcome to RV Daydream. Talked about one of these products in the past from the same company. It's HCalory, H as in the model, calorie like the unit of measurement. I want to cover a lot of the features, a lot of new features, and more importantly, a little bit on the safety side.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
HCalory is a company that I did a brief review on prior to a unit that was portable that they offered. And this one is a step up. This one is a toolbox design, and it has a lot of nice features that have added on to the value of what you were getting before. And at time of filming, this is like $180. Check the link in the description because there's always some sort of a discount code or a sale that is going on. So I'll offer a discount code in the description. If you use that, of course, you'll get money off from the purchase, but there's a chance that there could be a sale that's going on, especially Black Friday. You know, at time of filming, I'm just short of Black Friday. So anyway, just go check that out. So let's go ahead and open this up, see what it looks like. Here it is out of the packaging, pretty straightforward, not a lot to this. The assembly is very, very basic. What you're seeing here is a portable, hence the handle, 8 kW diesel heater. And the idea is that you're going to possibly be out camping. This is for outdoors people, RV people. Listen, I'm thinking about trying to incorporate this in the garage here, but most of the users on this is probably going to be somebody that goes out camping somewhere, something remote. Maybe you have some sort of a deer stand, something like that. You can go out and stay warm and you won't use up a lot of resources. This runs off of diesel, which in my case, I'll run it off of kerosene. I think kerosene's a little bit, you know, cleaner. Usually costs a little bit more, but really this doesn't use that much. Some of the nice features this has: a removable display that it does have an extension. There we go, an extension that you can make this even longer and allows you to monitor and control through the display. Now the display is not waterproof. There's no indication that it's waterproof, nor does anything indicate here, just looking at it, that this is waterproof. So if you decide that you're going to put this outside, you may want to help deflect some of the rain off of this. I don't think you want this saturated because in the bottom underneath here are a couple of holes. So if the water goes on the toolbox and goes into this area here, it's going to get into the toolbox, which inside the toolbox it's nothing more than just the unit itself, the heating unit, the fuel pump, which is real easy to see right here, and then the fuel tank. This is where you're going to do all your refueling. It does have a sight gauge in the side here that lets you know how much fuel is in there. The other thing that the unit will allow you to do, other than control it from this display, you also have a remote. This is a basic function, on, off, up, down, warmer, colder, that kind of thing. I like that. That's nice. But this has the ability to be run off of an app. I like the redundancy. You know, if you don't have a phone, if there's some sort of communication problem, there's timers. You can set, of course, the different temperature levels that you want this to run at. You might not need it to be at its hottest, highest level. And that would be in some sort of a confined area, but more importantly, that could also be dependent on where you mount this at. So the features of the remotes and the controls, there is no doubt you have total control over this. Now, where I see that you have some limited functions is two things. One, you have your power input, which is just a household outlet with a power brick, okay? You do have a power brick. That power brick it's going to limit you to being able to plug this into a normal power source and how far you can put this outside of whatever it is you're trying to heat, because this is not waterproof. So you only have, you know, this much length that you can plug into. Now there's a way around that, of course, and that would be if you do 12 volt. And here's leads going to a standard battery or a standard positive and negative 12 volt. And then this will plug into the unit. This is much longer. And of course, batteries, just regular 12-volt batteries. They don't like the cold. You can mount them outside though. Or if you want to lengthen the amount of 12-volt wiring, I'm sure you could do something with this. This is just basic wire, nothing fancy there. Now, I touched on something just there that might be some sort of a concern. Mounting inside, mounting outside. Personally, I would mount inside, but if I'm in a tent or something like that, it's probably going to put it outside. And the reason is on the bottom of this unit, you can see there's like a chrome thing here. Yeah, that's the exhaust. And whatever you set it on, like I'm setting it on the table here, that exhaust is only about that far off of the bottom of the unit from the ground. And that could cause a problem if you try to put it inside of a tent, let me tell you, or even on grass for that matter. So you want to be concerned about that. The other thing is, if it's inside the tent, you still have an exhaust that has to be connected and run outside the tent. And that's where it gets a little finicky, because you got, you know, some areas that's a little bit tough to get something through and still have it protected to where you don't melt your tent or catch the thing on fire or something. As far as inside though, there's a lot of advantages to it. First of all, like I mentioned, this isn't really waterproof. I'm sure it can handle some rain, it can handle some snow. If you do something to protect it, it's going to be able to handle a lot more. But if you have this setting outside, the main thing is, this is the air intake on the back here. And you can imagine as if this is sitting outside, it's pulling in that cold outside air and then running it through that superheater and then discharging it out the front through this tube. Well, the idea that you have colder air going in to be heated, that makes it to where this thing has to work harder to keep the air at a temperature that you like. Versus if this is on the inside, it's going to pull whatever air is already heated in through the unit again, and it's not going to have to run or be as a higher setting to keep that air at a temperature that you feel comfortable with. Not only that, but the fuel will stay warmer also inside here, which if you get cold enough, I'm sure you could get some sort of a gel up or something. But I like the idea of it being mounted inside for structures, and then as far as portable, moving around, that kind of a thing, all right, outside. Do it on the outside, because the advantage of this being on the outside is when you're refueling it, you don't have to worry about, spilling some fuel, which diesel isn't very volatile, but you can still smell it. It still will stain stuff. I really wouldn't want that inside of like my RV, to bring in fuel and be dumping it inside my RV. But again, there's pluses and minuses there. Just be aware that when this exhaust pipe is hooked up, which the exhaust pipe, you'll see here, gets hooked up on the bottom here, this thing gets hot. I mean, it's really, really hot. Not only that, but I also want to point out that they do give you a muffler to connect to it. Probably a good idea to run the muffler, especially for sound, but a lot of people don't know that this muffler is supposed to be mounted like this, not flat. You can mount it kind of crooked also. But you got to make sure that this little tiny hole in the seam of the muffler where it's put together, that tiny hole is supposed to be pointed down. Condensation will build up inside here. You want to have a way for it to leave. If not, this is going to prematurely rust. So all the things that are needed to put this together, pretty straightforward. It's in the instruction booklet. Look at this booklet, how thick it is. Now, obviously, we've got a lot of different languages in here. So don't think that you're going to get overwhelmed. The English portion of this, not very much. I mean, there's only, including how to use the app, the Bluetooth app operation, there's only about 20 pages, 22 pages here that you have to be concerned with total. But still, very, very nice that they included a good manual. So let's go ahead and get this put together. Let's hear what this thing sounds like. Everybody talks about, oh, it's ticking, it's ticking. You know what? I don't think that it's much of a thing. And this one's gotten even more quiet. They've upgraded this one, which I'm glad about that. So I just went ahead and plugged this in, turned it on, and downloaded the app. There's a QR code inside the manual. Read through the manual. There's a lot of information in there. I'm not gonna make this video 45 minutes long explaining every function that's in the manual. However, I did add this relatively quick, and it's pretty easy to see that whenever you fire it up, the display lights up, the unit makes some noise, and I like the idea that this is in color. Even though I'm colorblind, they've chosen colors that I could see pretty easily. As far as, well, when I say pretty easily, I know that's one color, this is one color, and this is another color. I'm gonna guess blue, yellow, green, maybe? I can't tell. But there are 3 different colors there. But on the app, I mean, it's very clear. It's very easy to understand. That noise that you hear is the fuel pump, and it's priming itself. The other thing that was in the manual that I neglected to see, and that was it has a carbon monoxide feature that you can change the parameter on based on your situation. So, of course, if you're in an enclosed area, this is mounted inside, you want to set that pretty sensitive. You know, carbon monoxide's nothing to fool around with. The noise of the fuel pump, it's pretty pronounced. It's not crazy though. My microphone's here, the fuel pump's here. I'm assuming that's 24 inches. I've been told that after this runs for a while, that the little bit of clicking noise that you get will subside. But I've never really found this sound to be offensive. I mean, if anything, you would think that the humming of the fan would be more of a concern for somebody than the ticking noise. I mean, that ticking noise is very, very minor. It sounds like a drippy faucet. I think that's probably why it bothers people. So there's a lot of different functions that are offered through this. It's amazing that at the price that you get there, I mean, that they have all these little computer things going on. Being an older person, getting to be older, I'm finding it, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's pretty amazing. But the one thing I want you to realize is that you can change a lot of the stuff that's in the burn cycle to say. You can change the way that the profile of it, the heat, the amount of heat. You can change your altitude. When we traveled the country, I would run my generator, you know, in one location and get a lot better run time out of it, and power for that matter, than I would in another location. Now, of course, we always seeked warm weather, so a lot of that means lower elevations, usually sea level, but it's still something to be concerned with. I want to point out that I do have this set up to where the exhaust is just venting inside of my garage right now. That's just for display. This exhaust has to go outside. It has to. You can't run this for any period of time inside, because everything that's coming out of that right there, that is bad. That causes a problem. The unit itself isn't very heavy. It's pretty lightweight. And the fact that this thing can generate that much heat off of such a small unit is pretty amazing. Now, as far as runtime on these things, they're talking like 42 hours of ultra long runtime. Now, I'm going to tell you that that's probably on its lowest setting, you know, the lowest heat setting, of course, with a full fuel tank, and with this unit drawing in warmer air. Now, if this is to be sitting outside and it's very cold and you got this thing cranked all the way up, I don't think it's going to run that long. I think that it would probably run, I would hope for a day, but you know, it's really hard to say. Your mileage may vary, let's just say that. I know you're hearing a lot of this noise at this point. Again, a lot of it is this exhaust. A lot of it is an exhaust. It's not the unit itself. I wish I could isolate that noise to what you would actually hear, but again, for demonstration reasons, this is what I've got right now. I'm thinking about how I could possibly mount it back there. I really like to figure out a way to mount it on my back wall, because I have a hole that goes through my garage currently that allows exhaust to go out, because we did have a wood burner in here at one time. So again, the hot air that you're going to actually enjoy comes out here. The hot air that you will, will kill you comes out there. So that has to be routed outside. This is inside. Man, is it nice and warm. I don't even think I have it on the highest setting, tell you the truth. Yeah, actually it is. It's on 10. It's on 10 right now. I should have seen that. And there's some other stuff that it shows here. It's showing that I have 13 volts. Well, I should. I'm plugged into a household outlet through that power brick. It's talking about the height in meters. That's going to be the elevation. That's about right. Then you have your aluminum body temperature. That's going to be the inside. That's going to be the unit that's inside. And it's talking about 334 degrees Fahrenheit. That's what the temperature is of the heating element right now. And then the ambient air inside here is 52 degrees. I'm thinking that it's a little bit cooler than that. When I first came out here, I seen that the ambient air temperature was roughly 37 degrees. And even now, I don't think it's 50. I think we're in the 40s. So that might be a little bit off. You do have an auto start and stop mode. That will allow you to set a time up to where you want this to come on. And then you can set your run time and then when you want it to shut off. I like that. I like that a lot. The app was very easy, very quick to connect. I was surprised by how fast that was. And again, we still have this display, right? So we can control stuff there. We have the time that's on the display here, and it's dead on. Now, I don't know if it got it from my phone, but I'm assuming that it did, because this matches my phone. And we just switched over to daylight savings time, I don't know, probably about 3 weeks ago. So that's nice. I like that. It shows that there's a Bluetooth connection going on. Really, really intuitive as far as this is concerned. There is a fuel catch that's in the gas can lid or the nozzle. So when you're pouring it in, your fuel will go to that in case you have some sort of debris or cobwebs or some dirty diesel or something like that. It'll go inside and be caught before it goes into one of those critical components, for example, a fuel pump. Now I'm going to tell you, that ticking noise is much more quiet. Let's hear it. Very quiet. So who is this for? This is for an RVer. This is for somebody who might be traveling in a van. How about tent camping? Sure. I don't think you're going to go backpacking with this. I mean, it is light and portable, but I don't think you're going to be carrying this for any great distance. But it's nice to know that once you get there, even just one tank of fuel will get you a pretty decent amount of time of heat so you can stay warm. This is also for people that have maybe greenhouses, possibly some sort of little shop. In my case, I think that this would do a pretty good job to keep this garage relatively warm over the winter. You've got two big obstacles that you got to overcome. One of them is if you're mounting this inside, you have to get the exhaust out and it has to be sealed, and you got to be protected from carbon monoxide. The other is if you're mounting it on the outside, you got to protect this unit, and it's not going to be as efficient as it would be if it was inside. Because you're going to be drawing in very cold air and heating that versus some sort of an ambient air. So just be aware. Just be aware. That's something that is kind of a struggle, I guess you can say. But HCalory, and this is the Compact 2S. This is brand new. They make some bigger ones. They make ones that are not toolbox design, that are a little bit skinnier. They make all kinds. They've been making these for quite a few years. So the links are in the description. Look for the discount code. Go ahead and click the link. It'll take you to the product, and then enter that discount code on checkout, and you'll get even more off of whatever the price is. And if that discount code continues, as far as working, usually it's because they have some sort of a sales that's going on that supersedes whatever that discount may be. Either way, you're going to get a great deal. So as always, guys, we hope to see you out there. Bye.